Hi there, welcome back to the YouTube channel. Bit brighter today because the sun's shining, so I've got my window open. But make sure you've hit the subscribe button down below. Come and help me out, get my subscribers up. Anyway, today's deck take is something that's played against me a while back. You might have seen it on a stream replay that's come up over the weekend, but it is a card I never expected to see as a commander. I'm going to be honest about it, and it worked so well. I've tried to recreate the deck now. Because my opponent won so quickly, I'm not 100% sure of what else was in their deck, but I've gone for it my way, so I've tried to repeat what he did. So, what is the deck, you're asking? Well, it is today's commander of the day is Inferno of the Star Mounts, 4 and double red for a 6/6 legendary creature dragon. It can't be countered, so that's a bonus when you're playing your commanders. And it basically has flying and haste, and it has red. Inferno of Star Mounts get +1/+1 plus nothing, until the end of turn. When its power becomes 20 this way, it deals 20 damage to any target. Right then. Now, our opponent played it in a really interesting way, which I'm going to try and talk you through and recreate now. So, this is what the deck looks like. So, that's the deck. And so we're going to go through it really quickly. As you can imagine, the lands aren't that spectacular. I've chucked in Fabled Passage and Handwire Battlements because I'm playing the other version of the Handwire Battlements. The Garrison's kicking around in the deck somewhere. A whole load of mountains. Had to go to some snow-covered ones. I didn't have quite enough basic ones of the same type, but the snow ones do help a little bit. I've chucked in Nykthos because we are going to have a lot of permanents in play with a bit of luck, so we'll get some extra mana off Nykthos. Path of Ancestry, Smouldering Crater, and that's it. There's nothing fancy in the mana base. However, the ramp side of it is fairly fancy for this because we want to be able to make sure we get there with the Inferno of Star Mounts when it happens. So, we've gone a little bit heavy. We've got Lotus Bloom, Mox Tantalite, Soul Talisman, Mana Crypt, and Jeweled Lotus in the deck. Also Mana Vaults in as well. Now, obviously, Mana Vault, Mana Crypt, Jeweled Lotus you can take out if you need to. Just put some more ramp cards in. I think we need it with this one. I've also got an Arcane Signet and Ruby Medallion. There, I'm casting Ruby Medallion as a pump as a ramp spell because it makes everything cost that one less to cast. Extra planar lenses in. I'm also classing this as a ramp spell. We will exile a mountain and then we'll get extra mana off it. And the last bit of ramp that I've included is Thran Dynamo because I think it probably works quite well in this deck. I'm not sure. This could probably come out, to be fair. Right, beyond that, it's really about controlling the board until we can either get Inferno of the Star Mounts out or we start overloading with the dragons. So, to help with a little bit of it, to make sure we get where we need to be, we have got in Wheel of Fate. I could have played the other version of the wheel, but I decided against it in this deck to try and keep the price down a little bit for people if you want to build it in real life. And then we've got a whole load of burn spells. So we've got Frostbite, hence why the snow cover's in here. We've got Lightning Bolt. Spikefield Hazard doubles up as the 36th land, so if you do get it early, play as a land. If you get it late, well, you've got an extra point of burn going somewhere. What else have we got that's got burns? We've got Lightning Strike, we've got Lightning Bolt, I mentioned that already, and we've got a few other little bits and pieces that will come along. Beyond that, Legion Loyalists is in, so we can make sure our creatures get trample and first strike when we get 3 of them attacking, which is great. I've gone with Strike It Rich just so I can get that treasure token on turn 1 or early on, just help that mana out a bit more. Voltage Surge, another removal spell. Basilisk Collar was key in the game that we played against the opponent on stream who had Inferno of Star Mounts. Because basically they had this equipped for Inferno of Star Mounts and they came up with one really big spell that I hadn't even thought about in a deck like this. Now what I will say, and I haven't got it in this deck, is my opponent was playing Jessicai's Will. If you've got Jessicai's Will, please take out the Thran Dynamo and put Jessicai's Will in over the top of it. I haven't got one on MTGO. They're still sitting around about 23 tickets, so I'm not quite rich enough yet to buy one of them, but that will be an upgrade at some stage in the future for me in this deck. But at the moment, we're going with how it is. Elixir of Immortality is also in, just so we can make sure everything gets destroyed, gets shuffled back in, because that does happen. It's a red deck. If you didn't expect to see Dockside, you've been living somewhere else for the last few months. As I've said many times now, if I'm playing a deck that has any form of red in it, Dockside goes in unless there's a real theme to the deck. This one isn't. This is all about ramping mana to get Inferno out. So that's why we're doing this. I've chucked in Dragon Tempest because we have quite a few dragons in, and we do like to be able to give all our other dragons haste, so that's why that's here. That means we've got Dragon Lord Servant in as well, just to cut down the cost of our dragon spells, along with the Dragon Speaker Shaman down here. So, make our spells as cheap as dragons as possible when we get there. I've put in Electrostatic Field. I found it to be quite a good early blocker at the moment, and because we are playing quite a few instants and sorceries in the deck, having that extra 1 point of damage being pinged at all your opponents can be quite helpful. Felden, just so we can draw some cards when it takes some damage and then play them hopefully by the end of our next turn. Magda, so we can attack and get an extra treasure off Magda, and if we do get a lot of treasures, which is theoretically possible with this deck, we can always go and sack 5 to find our dragon that we need. Robber of the Rich, it's quite a nice little card. I quite like playing this when it was available in Standard back in the day of, what was it, Throne of Eldraine, wasn't it? Yeah. Having it come through and just nick someone's card is pretty good fun. Runaway Steamkin was also key in the game we played on stream. Our opponent got so much mana off this because he was playing cheap red spells all the way through it that I've gone and got one and put in this deck, and it's going to be one of the cards I try out for a while. So if you see a red deck, you'll probably see this coming. Heroes Blades in. We've got a few legendary creatures, might as well pump them up while we're at it. And Swift Foot Boots is in just to protect the Inferno of Starmats from any targeted removal in theory. I've gone with Briggy. I would imagine, and I'm really guessing at this stage, it'll probably be the creature side, not the artifact side, but I'll see what the situation is in this game. Captain Lannery Storms in as well to get those extra treasure tokens. This is what I was saying. We probably do have ways of getting lots of treasure. Hanwha Garrison I've already mentioned. Livan Cultists of Tiamat's also in. I'm trying this card out. I'm not sure. I've put it in though because it is a dragon, so it does trigger sort of like one of the other cards we've got coming up. And we do cast quite a few non-creature spells, so pumping our creatures up ain't the worst idea in the world. Seething Songs in to ramp us up a little bit more. The Reaver Cleaver was the other key card our opponent had against us. He equipped this onto the Inferno of Starmats and made a lot of treasure very quickly. This is one of the key ways we have for making treasure. Valakut's in as the 37th land. Again, early, play it as a land. Late, yep, go and get yourself some cards. Dragon Speaker, extra plane lens I've mentioned already as well. So got a little bit of card draw, a big score, Pirates Pillage, and there's something else if memory serves correctly, Unexpected Windfall, there it is. So we've got them in just to help with the card draw and get some treasures. Porphyros, because I figured I might as well chuck one in. I had one slot left at the end. I couldn't find a dragon I was happy to play, so I chucked Porphyros in. Yeah, it eats the exile spells quite quickly for enchantments, but at the end of the day, you get a +1, +0 for pumping 3 mana into it, might work. Young Red Dragon, it starts off by doing the Bathing Gold to get the treasure token, and then it becomes a 3/2 flyer. A 2C, the Blazing Sky, you've seen a lot. Treasure tokens, chain reaction to control the board a bit. Chandra, Torch of Defiance, mana ramping, dealing with something that's got toughness 4 or less. Hopefully, if we get to the -7, doing the 5 damage will make us get there quicker. Maniform Hellkite, because again, we are casting quite a few non-creature spells, so it's worth having the extra illusion tokens. Windfall, Helm of the Host. Yeah, I had to do the Helm of the Host thing purely because in this deck it's just going to be amazing if we can put it on any of the dragons we've got coming up and having extra copies, so, Speaking of dragons, Ganax Astral Hunter. We've got enough dragons in the deck that will get treasure tokens off this as well. This is the card that won our opponent the game, though, on the stream the other day. They had Basilisk Collar equipped for Inferno of Starmats and then cast Chandra's Ignition. We all had quite a few creatures in play. He or she or they, let's go with they ended up with over 170 odd life, if my memory serves correctly. And that really did surprise all of us quite significantly. And it was like, yeah, okay, we can't win this now. But, the game's still there. You can go and watch it. Because I haven't got Jeskai Will, I've gone with Mana Geyser because I think that he might have had that in his, or they might have had that in their deck anyway. I'm not sure. As I say, I don't know what was in the rest of their deck. But I've gone with this because I figured, people tap lands, get some extra mana. Not a bad call. Obscene Charmor is also in here. There's a lot of lands at the moment producing colourless, and having a dragon that comes in that blows one up could be useful. Terror of the Peaks, I'm playing enough dragons to get the extra damage in. That sounds good. And Scourge of Valkus is in as well, just again to do the damage side of things as we go through it. Rushi, the Falling Star. Yep, dies, deals 5 damage to each creature without flying. So, yeah, you can block away with this and hopefully clear the board of the ground things. I've chucked in Sunbird's Invocation just so we can get that extra card spelling playing if we need to as we go along. Likewise, Ancient Copper Dragon is the other way. We've got creating a whole load of treasure tokens to make sure we get there. The other Chandra's in as well. I've gone with Chandra Awaken Inferno because those emblems do annoy your opponents, and if you can protect Chandra for a couple of turns, everyone getting shocked on their upkeep's really good. It's even better if you can get this to survive for 3 turns, and then you get to go, yay, you're getting lightning bolted at the beginning of your upkeep each turn. It's great. Lathalis is in. We're playing enough dragons that I figured we'd get some 5/5s as well, and then we get to pump them, which is great. Brass's Bounty's in for the more treasure token going for, along with Dracoseth, Maw of Flames. Again, this is quite a nice target if you put Basilisk Collar on it, because you can gain up to like 17 life a turn. It does work like that. Blasphemous Act's also in, another board wipe, and the final board wipe I've included. Again, you know, Starstorm, I have this in here. Yes, it's an instant, which is quite nice, so that can do all that damage to each creature. But if you get stuck with your hand, you're short something, or you need something to win, you can always cycle it if you can't win casting Starstorm. But that's it. That is my take of Inferno of Starmance. Like I say, I don't know if it's exactly the same as what was played against us on the stream the other day, but I liked it so much and it really inspired me. So if my opponent, who was Christian Welch 4994, if you see this video, please, come down below, leave me a comment, let me know where I've gone wrong, because your deck I really did enjoy playing against, and this is really, you inspired me to do this video today. So hopefully you'll pick this up at some stage and you'll come and leave me a comment and let me know. But anyway, for now, hit the like button. Let me know if there's anything you think I should have left out in the comments. If you've got, if you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, please hit the subscribe button. Come and help me out. I'm sitting at 113 subscribers on YouTube as we get in there. So, 887 to go until I hit that magic 1,000. So if you have got time, if you haven't subscribed before, please do that. Help me out a bit. And I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day. See you soon. Laters. Bye.